Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to IsraeliteBot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, you're a Gentile grafted into the house. I welcome you this morning. Today is May 28th, 2025. And today, as I'm speaking to you all, we're literally one step closer to World War III popping off, a direct confrontation popping off between the United States and Russia. And the reason that I have, thanks to AI, Gemini specifically, the thumbnail, if you notice in the thumbnail, which I think really perfectly details everything I was thinking about, even though it's on the globe and I have my thoughts about that. I don't, I'm not gonna harp in on that. Whether you're a flat earther or you go by the globe, it's up to you. But what I do have to say was that the depiction of Europe and North America being on fire is something that we have to understand, because the fire just wasn't set with just talks and things of that nature. There are fires that happen way before the missile strike. The fires that happen way before any type of declared military action. It's just that if you don't know how warfare is, which again, that's generally by all estimates. I think the survey was something around 90 some percent of all militaries, or excuse me, most Americans don't know about military or understand military affairs. And less than 1% of all Americans truly understand strategic concepts. I'll need to get you my source, but I know that that's pretty accurate. When I came into the military, under the family tradition. Both my grandfathers had been involved in World War II. My mother was in the military, and so was her brother. My father's twin had been in the military, and so had his older brother. And that led up to my grandfather. So I was about 3 generations. I think by far and wide, in terms of what I was able to achieve with my military career, I believe that I was able to achieve a little bit more than any of my previous generations. And that was to work at a 4-star command and to truly understand what and how things work, especially in a special operations capacity. Because there are a lot of things that happen before an actual military authorized strike occurs. You have to understand that there is a preparation of the battlefield. And that preparation of the battlefield is done in the soft environment. Soft, not special operations, but soft, political, diplomatic, information, and economic spaces. For me, when I went to my schools, all the trainings, I usually was always tired just because I'd always get brain fatigue, just because the way that things were demonstrated and described were very boring because, I'm just sorry. The teaching style was horrendous. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. I'm in the classroom every day. Most High had been able to bless me with that. I used to complain about it. Then I realized, I said, no, thank you, Father. You blessed me with it because now I understand how to communicate, because this is a communication of generations that has lacked the communication skills. You're either real smart or you're not as smart. And that's okay, because it's not about your smarts. It's the way that you perceive the information. It's the way that you get the information. It's the way that you process the information. And if you don't understand how that works, check out the White House. Check it out. He'll explain it. And if you don't understand what it is that he is doing, why he is doing it, I want you to check out this segment right here, just the first minute or so. This is from Tom Hartman program. He's here on YouTube, but this really caught my eye. Here we go.
That the Trump administration's new thing is we're going to look around the country for Democratic elected officials who have hired too many black people, and we're going to try to prosecute them. The Justice Department is now investigating the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. The mayor, what did the mayor do that was wrong that led to this? Well, the mayor gave a speech in a church, in a black church, in which he basically bragged that he'd hired a lot of, that he had, well, here's the phrase. He said, our administration is one of the most diverse administrations in the history of Chicago. And it is. It's 45% black, 25% brown, 8% Asian.
I hope that doesn't bear repeating, because, YouTube feels a certain sort of way when I present information. YouTube feels a certain sort of way when I'm able to prevent anything. If you hadn't noticed, I'm not on the algorithm's, favorite list. And that's okay. But for some people to understand what's happening, they really have to go towards the white pill bottle. And on top of that, these white pills have to go to them folks so they can digest it. But when they understand what's happening, they have a lack of understanding, because, trust me, they understand, they know the information, but they don't want to process it. They act as though they're looking at a foreign language. They act as though they're looking at something that is so misunderstood, so misinterpreted, that we might as well just be doing sign language or, some other unintelligible expressions. But the reality of this right now, as I had stated in the NeoDiplomacy, there's a reason I have those little thumbnails or the little commercials and things of that nature. I said these commercials, since August, September. Because why? It's because we all understood that the world was going to be on fire. And now this world is on fire. Nobody wants to talk about what's happened to the Japanese, yen in the carry trades. Nobody wants to talk about how that's going to affect, because people are trying to find out ways to now get around the dollar. And matter of fact, in my state of Florida, you have Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, proposing language to debank the system and turning back to gold and silver. Mind you, in the third most populous state, and that's probably sunk to the fourth, especially after people are not able to buy homes here in Florida, nor be covered by insurance, so they can't even sell their homes here in Florida. Why all of a sudden? Because they know that dollars are not being purchased. And when dollars aren't being purchased, guess what they have to go back to? Gold. You know, there's a thing I say, neo-diplomacy is the new currency, because it truly is. When I come on up here and I say, hey, we got to get this gift out to the continent, I'm not saying that just because I'm on a whim that, ooh, we just blowing smoke. Because what we're doing is we're coming through in a neo-diplomatic manner to have a relationship, not a transaction, a relationship with our brothers and sisters on the continent. It's not a pay-for-play scheme. It's a relationship understanding that we are family, and our family hasn't been able to speak to our other family because of the principalities, let's just realize it, spiritual and physical, that have caused the degradation of relationships. And a classic Stockholm syndrome that our people have. And you know, the biggest way to defeat Stockholm syndrome is when people that were in charge and in control, when they don't have the resources, when they can't turn on their lights, when the AC's not working, especially here in Florida, and people get uncomfortable, that heating, air conditioning isn't working, when the food isn't being supplied, when the labor isn't there for you. Because why? Because they got to give it to other people. Because why? Because they have to then make sure that their resources are good. Do you understand what's happening? Why do you think the world is now on fire? Because why? Because the resources are no longer there. And guess what? The dollar has now become a weaponized item. When I'm calling for the raising of dollars here in the United States to create something substantial, because people tend to not understand. And I get it, because a lot of our people, well, I need that return on invested. I need that internal rate of return. I need that solvency. I need liquidity. I need, all of these capital flows, income balance driven equations and notations. I get it. But do you ever think that right now in the age of AI, that all the things that had once seemed, normal is no longer normal? So now they want to go to a dollar system while gold is almost 3,500. And probably by the end of the week, it may be probably around 36, 37. Because why? Because now people are going to drive up the value, especially in other countries, because other countries know what's happening. Because you want to know why? They have their own diplomatic cables. Yes, it's called diplomatic cables, because they feed that from embassy to embassy to embassy, because they have their own people that's doing the analytical work to find out what's happening behind the scenes through various methods of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance methodologies. That's the real break. That's actually ISR. ISR, people may not even know what ISR is. It's laughable. It's laughable that you have these channels that try to give a military and geopolitical breakdown. Hey, look, if you have the funds for it, you can fake it all you want. If you have the funds and you have 1.23 million subscribers, you can say all you want, from quote unquote, experts and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Well, when you've actually been in the seat doing it, when you've actually had years of experience doing it, and then you try to utilize that for a righteous effort, because why? Because the system of mammon is being destroyed. There's no luxury for a hideout bunker. You better read Revelations. Talking to the rocks, fall on me. He better understand what that means. You ain't escaping this judgment. No matter how many silos, empty silos people want to convert into bunkers and things of that nature, how many billionaires convert things, you're not escaping this judgment. Because why? Because that's what the scripture says. And the scripture is the Most High's word. And the Most High's word is his laws, is his statutes, is his commandments, are his ordinances. Guess what? You're not going to escape what the Most High has already stated. But what you can do is you can prepare and you can do things righteously. But you know what? The wicked do what? They trust in their own arm, and therefore they perish. The wicked say that there is no Elohim, there is no God. Well, there you go. Now you're seeing it. The Most High's told me we got to get this container, and look how our people have responded. And now here is the hardest part, because the hardest part is that we now need to raise some funds for this leg of transportation. Because if you didn't know or recall, it was about 9 weeks ago, a little less than a month. April 1st, Tuesday, April 1st. I had called for getting this container going. April 2nd, the Great Liberation Day, whatever that was. Yeah, it was a liberation. A lot of folks got liberated from their jobs. Folks were getting liberated from their houses, their cars, their ability to pay their bills, their domiciles. Yeah, it's a liberation of sorts. Not the liberation that people thought it was going to be. And all the whiles, it was, oh, we're going to have all of these. The war in Russia is going to be over with. And I'm like, yeah, right. I said that. I've said that on this channel. I've said it. No, you're now having defense contracts because they're up and going. So everything that they were trying to say, oh, they're going to have this in Ukraine and blah, 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 and then the whole fake mineral deals. And I said, yep, watch, in about 2 weeks, they're going to do something crazy. And they were doing something crazy. Try to take out Vladimir Putin's helicopters with drone strikes and then say that he's crazy. I mean, the gaslighting. But when you've been gaslighting your victuals, aka Hebrews here in America, when you've been gaslighting us for centuries, it's not your. Why can't you just be a good slave and not run away to freedom? That was the ultimate gaslight of captivity, with even a condition known as drapetomania. I'm just saying that's historical gaslighting. If I never seen it, if I would not, you would not believe that it was real unless you would have seen it in the history books that they're now trying to get rid of. Drapetomania. It is a disease of the brain to where a slave wants to experience freedom and they try to run away several times. That is obviously a mental disorder, if I do indubitably say it myself. This should not come as a shock, as I had stated on the intro for Covenant Awakenings, that neo-diplomacy is a new currency. It should not come as a shock that less than 60 days, you now have the Trump effect in worldwide logistics. And now the 50,000, that was the initial estimate. We now need to raise up to 65,000. When we had started the container initiative, it was 60,000. You can see it on the page. As we were working this, and this was last year, we were working this. We just never put the umph into this because honestly, last year, it wasn't that critical. This year, it's critical. Because I'm going to tell you, what are they going to do with folks that they plan on fire in the economy that has no jobs? Sorry, I've been planning for this. Because now I know that at dinner tables all around the country, our people are sitting there having to figure on out what their next move is. In places and spaces that were not getting hired, no matter all of the credentials that we have, the experience that we have, the innovation and motivation that we have. That doesn't matter. AI is here. Who cares? You all better figure something out real quick. Because Roland Martins, Al Sharptons, any other media influencer, they're not going to tell you what you need to do. They're just going to tell you about the problems. Here's your problems. Now give it to me because I told you about your problems, and I need support on this channel. Man, I've always had the problem with that. Yeah, you can see problems. We all are going through problems. What's the solution? What's the solution? What's the solution? Man, Sister Shar be tearing me up. Okay, Brother Karras, you see everything. No, Brother Karras, I'm going to ask you, what's the solution? That's all, folks. Well, the solution, it starts with X, Y, and Z, with X, Y, and Z, with X, Y, and Z. Brother Karras, did not the Most High give you all of those solutions? Yes, I know, but it takes resources and capital. Well, Brother Karras, don't you know the people that are there that are sitting on all the resources in the continent? Gee, I don't know when Governor DeSantis here in Florida is saying debanking, because why? Because gold and silver are the actual currencies. And guess what? They can't rely on debt, the dollar, because why? Because it's not being used. It's being destroyed in front of our faces. De-globalization and de-dollarization is happening in front of our faces. So therefore, guess what? If your dollar is not even strong on the outside, it won't be strong on the inside. But I'm going to tell you something, and this isn't investment. It's not an investor. This is not financial advice. Your dollar still is good to support activities in the United States that can then support activities on the continent. I know that that's going to be weird, and let that sink in. Dollar goes out to the African continent. Dollars flow back into the United States at half the value. At half the value. What does that mean? It means you're going to have a net gain loss whenever you're trying to do business in the continent, no matter what you are doing, no matter how nice and pristine and how visually aesthetic everything is, no matter how functional everything is. They set it up that way. Do you see how they set it up that way? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw the video from DeSantis earlier today, he was speaking from Apopka, Florida. And Apopka, that is Central Florida. For me, it's about an hour and 10 minutes away. I've been all throughout Apopka. You have Howie in the Hills. You have Lake Mary. You got Ocoee, Claremont, a lot of things. That is kind of that's just Central Florida. What are they trying to do? They're trying to say, look, we can get this produce on out to you, and we don't need to take dollars. That's what they're trying to say. That's a huge shift. The state is now saying, as a state, we're going to honor gold for transactions. That's a huge shift. Yeah, Popka's like Groveland and all those other places. A lot of hills in Florida. Oh, that part of Florida. Not my part of Florida. I don't have any hills. It's flat. I'm in Tampa. It's flat. The biggest hill nearest to me is about 20 miles away. So what does that mean? That means that now even the states are saying they don't trust the dollar. That's a red flag. Houston, we have a problem of tremendous magnitude, because every time these states do this, what that does is it actually undermines the federal ability of the bank note to be properly funded by the quote unquote full faith and credit of the United States. Well, guess what? They don't have that quote unquote full faith and credit anymore. It's gone. They've just declared that it's gone. I didn't say it. DeSantis said it. I know that's going to be hard for people. The dollar's getting cheaper. Yes, things are getting more expensive because the value of the dollar is getting less. I know that's hard. Value goes down, expenses go up. Oh, I know exactly where that is. 50 and 441. Yep, I know where that's at. So now the question is, what do you do about it? You know, the awesome thing, you know how the Most High already moved in this? We got the container. It's shipped. The container shipped. The container shipped in May. I can't really go too much into depth and details with that because, you know, people are listening in, because I'm going to tell you that when it does go and people see, then guess what? Well, that secret's going to, not really a secret, but, you know, it just will blow up in an uncontrollable manner. And it will. How did these Negroes pull this off? And how come nobody paid attention to these Negroes? Because here's the thing. Y'all don't care about us. Unless we done crack the code. Y'all don't care about us. Y'all don't care about little old Africa. Well, yeah, now you got gold and silver. Oh, all of a sudden, all of a sudden, nah, Trump ain't bringing peace to these hot zones. It's the opposite. Nah, the peace, no. And I know that that's really the opposite of what a lot of people have thought. There's no peace. Tell me in the word that there is going to be peace, especially for them, especially during these times. Sorry. Calamity, destruction, tumultuous times, all that other peril, perilous times, all the good words that Trump, or excuse me, that the Most High is using and has declared. They're trying to say peace, peace, and then what? Sudden destruction. When they say peace, that means you better hurry up and do something because there ain't no more peace. Really bad. Really bad. Those are his words. Those are Trump's words. We got containers that we need to get through and get shipped all the way to Burkina Faso. Behind the scenes, I'm working with the embassy, with the government of Burkina Faso. I'm working with the people there behind the scenes. No, you won't be able to get any type of footage or information or anything else. Sorry, that's not how that goes. But the work is being done. And let me tell you, they are just as amazed. Because I told you, we were working with them 8-9 months ago. And then we had to slow down on this. We had to slow down on this because the Most High slowed us down. We had some things to clean out. We had some bones in the closet. That the Most High said, nah, you got to take care of this. You got to take care of that. You got to look, sometimes when you get to that next level, you got to take a bath. And you got to get spiritually scrubbed. And being spiritually scrubbed, guess what that means? It takes time. Father, how come, Father? No, it takes time because this is timing. And when we were spiritually scrubbed, guess what? We were able to present again to them without all the dirt and grime that we had underneath our fingernails, without all the crust in our eyes and lips, without all the boogers hanging out of our noses, without all the earwax protruding from our ears. We were a lot cleaner because the Most High had us doing what needed to be done in the background to be ready for, quite frankly, it's a miracle. It's a miracle to have a container on its way to Burkina Faso stacked full of medical supplies. What we're doing is we are documenting the whole experience. Because if we did it once, how many times can we do it again? Yeah, we're going to have to be a lot more creative because why? Because the way that we're doing it is not going to be there the next time. Because why? Because this dollar is falling. The value of it is falling. And the reason that everything is falling is because, let me show you this one. Keep in mind, I didn't say this. I didn't script this. USA and Russia clash in public as the Ukraine war heats up. This is MSN.com. Moscow, Kiev. This is via Reuters. The United States and Russia quarreled in public on Wednesday over the intensifying Ukraine war after U.S. President Donald Trump warned that Vladimir Putin was playing with fire. And Moscow massed 50,000 troops near a Ukraine region. While world leaders bicker over the prospects for peace, the deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II is heating up fast. Swarms of drones are being launched by both sides, while Russia is advancing at key points along the front. I think you all have probably saw this, but Trump in a post on Truth Social said that Putin was playing with fire and cautioned that really bad things would have happened already to Russia if it was not for Trump himself. I don't know about you all. That sounds like I hate to say it, but that sounds like a cliche, like mobster anecdote. You know what I'm saying? Phrase. If it wasn't for me, really bad things would have happened by now. But it was me that made sure that you didn't have really bad things happening. Okay? Now, Luigi over there, oh boy, and Vespucci, yeah, they would have knocked on the door and you didn't want to see him at 3 a.m. I'm just saying. I wish this was a joke. I wish this was a game. It's not. This is everything that the word said it would be. Right now, in the next, I'm going to say, yeah, the next 7 days, we have our people on the ground there working to secure the next phase of this. As I was telling you all yesterday, our supplier, he had already eaten $8,000. Just since the time of April and then when we got the container on out. He had already eaten $8,000. You know what he could have done on this end? He could have passed it on over and said, you want to know what? Instead of this amount, it's now this amount. Do you understand that that was the grace that the Most High gave? And now, not just hour by hour, but literally minute by minute, the devaluation of the dollar is occurring in front of our eyes. Like I had said, what is your 401k going to look like? Yeah, the stock market is going to look great because why? Because they can manipulate it. Easy peasy. The only when they aren't able to manipulate it is because there's zero people buying the treasuries. China's getting ready to dump. They canceled USD. That's a big one. Japan, they're trying to get out of USD. Because why? Because this dollar is a weapon. See, what a lot of people don't like to tell you about de-dollarization, de-globalization, all that other good stuff is, that's going to lead to war. Why is that? Because in the Ponzi scheme, people that lose out on a lot of money, you want to know what they do? They want to fight. Do you remember the assassination attempt on Bernie Madoff? I know I bring up Bernie Madoff, but he was the classic example. I've never seen so many white folks trying to kill another white person. I mean, delete. Not only were they trying to go after him, they were trying to go after his whole family. They had to put they had to cart him out of court in a flak jacket, Kevlar, and armed security guards. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think these nations will be like, oh, well, we lost all of our money. Too bad, so sad. Off now to the next, now back to the drawing board. What? No, they're going to form a coalition and they're going to come on over here and they're going to ransack this place to make sure that they can get all their wealth. So now all of the gold drive and everything else that's going on is for what? To get laid up. Hey, don't completely destroy us. We got gold here. So yes, we are continuing this container because now we're at phase 2. We got to get this thing from the port to Burkina Faso. Because let me tell you, family, what this does. Our gift is a currency. I know it's hard for folks to understand, but our gift is a currency. Our relationship is a currency. It's a value. And when they value us as much as we value them, guess what happens? No, our people are not going to starve. No, our people are not going to come to any type of harm or subjugation. Because it's funny because I thought about this last year. I said this last year in front of a Ghanaian billionaire when we were in Burkina Faso. And that was also in front of Dr. Ericana and her VP, Damian Cook. And I said, think about this. To them at the time, it was truly, truly implausible. But to me, understanding the dynamics of what's going on and how the Most High was literally putting the pieces together, I'm like, yeah, you're able to do it. I said at that time, it could cost Africa $50 billion. Oh, 5 billion. Probably now it's about 50 billion. But just think of what they're able to save a quarter, a month. They are able to control their resources. And guess what? They're now setting their benchmark rate. They're now setting the price. Do you understand what happens? The continent that has the resources is the continent that rules the world. That's why if you refer back to the meme or to the not meme, the thumbnail, you see the United States and Europe on fire. Why? Because that's what they're fighting over. They're fighting over Africa. And Africa is now beginning to understand who they are. Do you understand why we have the advantage in this diaspora? Because we are the family. You're bringing your gift to your family. And you're telling your family how much you love them. Don't listen to all the people that hate you. Don't listen to all the people that want to continue to divide us, because why? The more that we're divided, the easier it is to control their land and to make them poor. Stop being manipulated. And that goes for us. Stop being manipulated. This dollar, I believe this, by the end of this year, I believe that the dollar is going to be rubbish. It's going to be garbage. In my personal opinion, by the end of this year, I believe that the only value you will have is who you know outside the United States, and working authorization papers and blah blah blah. It's going to really be truly dystopian. You all may not see it, you all may not want to comprehend it. That's okay. But what I'm going to say is, we still need to raise about $20,000, 20,000 USD. That container will be there by the end of this summer. The Ministry of Health is excited. And don't think it's not just being seen by the Burkinabe. This is being seen by Niger and Mali. And yes, that's going to be the next thing. Those are the next countries. Because if you didn't know, family, those are that's our family. Shout out to Yakoba, breaking that down. It's our family. Look, does 20,000 seem steep? Yeah, it does. But I'm gonna discuss some things tomorrow of what we're doing and how you can get involved with that. I pray that folks are now realizing that with all of these price hikes that's happening, that all of these inflation things that's going on, that maybe, just maybe, that's the chance for our people to open up their mouths and talk to other people, to support other people. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. That's all I got, family. Let me get up on out of here. Oh, hallelujah. May the Most High keep you. May He shine on you. May He strengthen you. Because I know He strengthens me each and every day. I get beat up each and every day. I do. But I thank you all. Thank you, family, for your gifts and your supports. Thank you, family, for your prayers. All I can do is just go day by day. If you want to support me, that's in the screen right there. That supports the channel. I appreciate it. We have a container that needs to go from the port in Tima over to Ouagadougou. The address is there. The people are there. Look, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And they're expecting that here in a few short months. Really, in less than 8 weeks, to be exact. Less than. Who would you have even have thought that? Who would you have even have realized that? But we need this today because we got to get these things finalized. Because the more we wait, literally, the more it's going to cost. I hate to say that, but that is really the truth. And I'm not dictating it. That's who you all voted for. I didn't vote. Your vote should have mattered. Was it really going to count? Was it really going to count in this planned destruction? That's a debate for another day. Be encouraged, family. Open your mouths and let's get this thing going, because guess what? The Most High is still in charge. He is still in control, and He is still doing an awesome and mighty work. His name is Yahuwah. I cannot wait to show you all what has transpired, but we're going to have to do that in a very limited manner because, as you all know, people do not like to see us, doing these things. It's pretty shameful. It's pretty shameful. But it is what it is. All we can say is hallelujah and amen. That's it. So with that said, family, I definitely have to get up on out of here. And we'll see you all tomorrow. And with that said, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.